We got to stay on the Barbie train for just a little bit longer and ride it to AMC theaters, which are up by about 19.5% today. A couple of things going on. It came out with attendance figures from the weekend, but also, and probably more importantly for investors, the cinema operator was blocked by a Delaware judge from converting its APE preferred shares into common stock. The judge rejected a settlement that would have let the conversion go ahead while also giving out extra stock to account for the dilution of ordinary shareholders. That was in the deal. AMC has now filed a revised deal with the court, citing its urgent need to raise capital. So a couple things going on here. On the attendance front, the company came out this morning and said over 7.8 million moviegoers went to AMC theaters from Thursday to Sunday. That is the best that it has been since pre-pandemic.
Wow.
And that it was also revenue as well, most attendance and revenue in a weekend since 2019. So there's that. But really, that's almost a sideshow to this whole court goings-on back and forth between AMC and the APE shares, which it wants to convert back into regular AMC shares, and it wants to raise capital. But some shareholders had challenged that because they didn't want their shares to be diluted. So that plan is on hold for the moment.
Yeah, that story, as you mentioned, about the share dilution, the more fun story that I guess investors want to pay more attention to this morning, as reflected in the share price reaction that we're seeing. This is up by about 14% right now, is and continues to be about some of the box office performance here too, and where incremental spends within that movie theater experience. I don't think I've had popcorn at a movie theater. It's up 23% now, my goodness. I don't think I've had popcorn in a movie theater since I saw Barbie, and they got me for a couple, drinks, I will say, and beverages and snacks. And so people who are buying into this entire and holistic experience, perhaps boosting those margins a little bit better on overpriced concessions.
Yeah, but I think right now it has more to do with what's going on with this court case, even though it's confusing, to be honest, what's going on here. Because on the one hand, the fact that the dilution is not going to be happening right now would be good news for an AMC shareholder. On the other, when the CEO of the company is saying we urgently need to raise capital and we can't do it in this way, A, the fact that you need to urgently raise capital is not necessarily a great sign. B, the fact that you can't do it right now in this preferred way is also not a great sign. So it's fascinating to me that the shares are going up. The APE shares, meanwhile, which they want to convert, have been trading at a discount because there have been questions about whether this, and they continue to, there have been a lot of questions about whether this was going to go through. So, there are a lot of questions now about what's going to happen next, and there are sort of two sides within the AMC shareholders now, those who want conversion and those who don't. So this is very much, the movie is not over, shall we say.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Now, I mean, look, the APE shares were kind of I dare to say gimmicky, but it was a different type of, it was a gimmicky type of way for them to really kind of annex themselves that much closer to a retail investor that had become a fan of AMC as well, and kind of muddling that together with equity ownership. But at the same time, they had already done roughly, or just south of $2 billion worth of at-the-market equity offerings in 2021 to try and raise capital. So it would have looked like a red flag to investors at a time where it shouldn't have. We knew that they needed to raise capital at a time where also box office movies still weren't driving people back in droves to that movie theater experience, when we still were at a time period where they were waiting for vaccines to come forward, or at least get the second or third dose to be comfortable going back into those very crowded environments too. So the movie's not over.
The movie's not over.